Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Something I used to use when I manifested back in the day, and this was before I learned Law of Attraction, had even heard of Law of Attraction. This was before The Secret and all that stuff. In fact, I think this either goes back to Seth Speaks or probably the Book of Knowledge. I pulled it out just because it's a great book, but the Book of Knowledge or the Keys of Enoch. An amazing book, actually. Got some very, very cool illustrations. Let me see if I can find any quickly. Just an amazing book, though. Highly recommend it. It's very expensive. Like some really cool stuff in here. And then we've also got these little sections with fire letters, which I know I'm not showing you well. But it's just got some really cool stuff. This book is amazing. I do have a link below. It's extremely expensive, and it is definitely not for everybody. But for people that really want to get into some major crazy stuff, it's like the 64 different keys for the civilization to unlock all the secrets or something. It's along those lines anyway. It's a long time ago. I've read it a couple times, but great book. One of the things that I really took out of it is the way we visualize something. And what I learned and what I always used was if I could see it clearly in my mind, then I had it. And that was always true. It was just funny how it worked out. Whenever I could truly imagine something, which again is using Goddard's techniques. I wasn't the feelings so much, even though I highly recommend adding that to it. And Goddard certainly is brilliant to bring that along. But from what this was suggesting, it was more of a mental game and being able to see it in space and time. So Goddard frequently talks about imagining like you're there, or like you're in the moment. And you imagine from that place. Now, when you do that, you're essentially using the same technique. You're visualizing. When you can visualize, when you can put perspective to it, the 3D, all that stuff was identical. But when you can actually see it, what you're doing from a true standpoint is you are peering into your future. And the more probable and the more likely that future is, the more clear it is. So if it's a little hazy and fuzzy, don't quite have enough energy towards it. We need to spend a little more time with it or trying to imagine it better, or maybe there's some components that we haven't included. But it's one of those things that you really kind of want to look at. How clearly in my mind am I seeing it? And really, for those of you, and I know there's some of you that are like, what if I can't see things in my mind? I would suggest working on it. You'll be surprised at how it can get better over time. Now, the example I've used, and there was someone that even didn't like this example and referenced it at least, so I thought that was cool. But imagine an apple and try to draw an apple. Just try to draw it. Doesn't have to be good. Just allow yourself to not be good at drawing. I'm not. But what you'll find is as you draw it, it forces you to use that component of your visual mind and try to see an image and try to give it as much reality and shade and light and shiny and whatever as you possibly can. And in that practice, you get better at visualizing things. Visualizing is just a helpful thing in a lot of places in life, not just manifesting. Well, kind of. If you're going to try to build a company, if you need blueprints, if you're building a building, if you're trying to plan maybe a farm or anything like that, you need to plan it out. You need to know how much space you've got, what to maximize the distance and the field size and all these things. So visualizing is an important task. Now, remembering again that if I can see it clearly, it's truly mine. It is a legitimate future. Now, how far into the future? Generally, I've found the clearer I can see it, the closer it seems to be as well. So this is one of those things that I used to use frequently, is visualizing myself doing, like for radio when I was trying to get that. Visualizing myself at the microphone, visualizing myself doing the job, visualizing what it would be like to do that. And how, again, feelings wasn't part of it, though it was cool because I was trying to imagine it with a certain reality, so there probably was some feeling attached to it. But again, so many people, like when we're trying to imagine a specific person, we try to think about how we feel about them. And it's not how you feel about them that really comes in or matters. It's how you feel that you have this manifestation already. And that's one of the characteristics that's difficult. So a lot of us may see clearly this individual. Now, sometimes it is, remember, you got to make sure you're in it. Make sure that when you're seeing them, your face is right there with them. Make sure when you're hugging them in your imagination that your face is going up right next to their hair or that you can smell them. But giving it that sense of reality makes it that much stronger. And what I've found, especially after my post-law of attraction days, what I've found is that when I incorporate this visual understanding, when I incorporate that with the feeling of having it, and when I can see it clearly, truly these are the moments when I let go. These are the moments when I say, you know what, you got this. It is yours. There's no reason to continue putting time and effort into it. It's already happening. It's already yours. That's a really important thing to distinguish when you're manifesting something. A lot of people say, yes, yes, I do. I have it already. I know it. I have it already. When am I going to get it? What? You just said you had it already. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know in the whole metaphysical, it's in the future. And yeah, but when am I actually going to get it? So that's the difference. If you actually have it, you don't desire it. You don't desire what you have already. You don't require what you have already because you've got it. Well, you kind of require it, but you don't seek it. You don't seek what you already have. And so many of us are seeking, and that is not how manifesting works. Manifesting is really from an ownership standpoint. I acknowledge this situation that I see in my mind very clearly, fortunately. I acknowledge it is mine. I am grateful that this is occurring, knowing full well that a lot of things may have to come into play for this to happen. Certain people might have to get influenced. Certain open doors might have to happen. Might need to meet a couple people along the way. There's maybe a partner I need. It's okay. Those things will all completely work out by holding the end result, by seeing that and feeling that and giving it that true reality. You've got it at that point. Now, for those of you that don't see it clearly yet, I want you to, one, see this not as a bad thing, but yes, as an indication that maybe it's not quite as close as you would like yet. Maybe it's a little further down the road. Maybe it's not quite real yet. So work on it. Keep working on it. Keep visualizing it. You might be pulling your energies away from it on a regular basis. If you continue to doubt what you're doing, that can cause you to have a harder time visualizing something, or that can cause that visualization to start to kind of turn into a ghost to turn into like a smoke, right? Like it becomes foggy, it almost becomes hard to see. So again, look at what you're doing internally. This is all an internal game. The only reasons we fail to manifest are because of what's going on inside of us and some other factors, but for most, the only reason is for what's going on inside of us. So to make changes inside of ourselves is how we make changes outside of ourselves. If you're not able to see your picture clearly, that's an outside of yourself indication that there's a little more work to do. Continue doing that work. Now, for the few of you that maybe are trying to manifest something that's not necessarily appropriate, not necessarily in your soul's path, not necessarily right for all involved, and this would be the exceptions to the rule. For those, I have had times in my life where there's just things that I could not get it to happen. Have I manifested 100% of everything intentionally that I wanted? No, I have not. Have I manifested most everything intentionally as I want? Yes. There have been a couple times where I haven't been able to. Other coaches may say they're perfect. I'm not. I haven't. I still get better every day. But what I have found, and usually the rule I use, is if I can't see it clearly, there's probably a reason for that. What that reason is, I don't necessarily know. You can certainly talk to your subconscious and try to get an understanding of that, and I certainly recommend that, and that's something I do, trying to understand why am I having a hard time manifesting this. Ask your subconscious to present those answers to you. Ask your subconscious to help you understand what is a better path forward for you. And in some cases, and I've found this typically with people, specific people, trying to manifest a specific someone into my life, that maybe if we were together, it would either A, mess up their life and they wouldn't accomplish their soul purpose, B, might mess up my life, might mess up my soul purpose, or whatever the case is, it's not maybe the right fit. Now, usually for me, it's really been more about wanting to have an awesome relationship with a wonderful, amazing person. Believe it or not, there's a lot of amazing people on this planet, quite a few. But sometimes I get fixated on certain aspects of people, and maybe don't fully know them or fully understand them. I know my higher self does. I know their higher self does. I know there's a larger safety net at work. So again, if I can't see it, if it's just something like no matter how hard I try, I can't get that vision into my mind, then at those points, I start to think about maybe altering the vision, maybe altering what it is that I'm seeking, maybe looking at it just a little differently than what I have been looking at. So tunnel vision and focus that this is the only thing I can have, this is the only thing I can have. No, that's not true. Look more closely from maybe even a broader perspective of what it is that you actually desire. And in a lot of cases with specific people, I know it's trying to maybe get something that we've lost. And that can be a little difficult. It's painful. We want to stop that pain. We want to put it all to bed. We want to feel better about things. Sometimes we just decide we really, 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 really like somebody, and the more we think about them, the more amazing they are. But maybe they don't quite feel the same way. I don't know. Maybe they're tied up in something else they can't get out of. Maybe they don't want to, whatever. There are a lot of complexities that I have come across in my experiences. What I have found is the visual, the ability to see, the clarity of that has played a larger role in my confidence than anything else that has happened for me. And I've always, and still to this day, when I can see it clearly, when I know I can see it, it's real. It is about as real in my mind's eye as I can possibly make it. I know that that is a reality that I am going to experience in my physical world very shortly. Remember this, use this, practice this, and watch how your confidence starts to shift. It's Dan RadioStyle.